Hello, how you doing? You ever seen this flower?
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
Good.
You ever seen this flower?
No.
It's called Kim Il-sungya. Find out all about it. Hello. You ever seen this flower?
Nah.
It's called Kim Il-sungya. Find out about it. You ever seen this flower?
Huh?
You ever seen that flower?
I have.
Hello. You ever seen this flower?
Thank you.
Hello. Have you ever seen this flower?
No.
It's called Kim Il-sungya. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So in 1964, Carl Ludwig was growing this flower in Indonesia, and the president of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, went there, and they named it after Kim Il-sung as a symbol of eternal friendship between Indonesia and North Korea, because they're part of the anti-imperialist struggle. You know, the United States overthrew Indonesia and killed thousands of people, but North Korea has still been growing even after the Korean War. Mm-hmm. So they support anti-colonial movements like Palestine. The ambassador to North Korea from Palestine he and his wife were unable to conceive. Mm-hmm. And so Kim Jong-il sent a fertility expert to help them conceive, and Jundalay is named after another flower that is a symbol of their beauty and their struggle against the economic system that's holding us back. The North Korea constructed a monument to African Renaissance in Senegal in 2010. And they support their allies with Russia and China because they're growing economic systems instead of Wall Street that's holding us back.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you hear about North Korea?
It's usually portrayed as someone not that good, or just like more so as like people that can't leave, or like yeah, they don't have a choice in saying anything like that. Yeah.
Right.
But I have seen that North Korea does stand with Palestine.
They do. They always have.
I have heard that before. That's why I support Palestine.
Yes. And so we have a little bit about Palestine and the Greater Israel Project here, but the economic system that has broken free from Wall Street, we call it anti-imperialism. The economic system is globalism, imperialism, Wall Street, big banks that are waging all these wars to keep people down and keep it from developing, like they're doing in West Africa right now.
Yeah.
But China broke free. They were controlled by the Japanese invaded, the British invaded. They broke free and they built 31,000 miles of high-speed rail. They have 5-year economic plans. What's happening to our bridges in America?
I don't know.
They're falling apart.
I didn't.
Right? They're not investing. Right? Remember in Boston, that bridge?
Right?
Yeah. The Kerch Bridge from Russia to Crimea, it's indestructible. No matter how much Ukraine tries to destroy it with bombs, it's indestructible. North Korea, despite the Korean War, where millions of people were killed and we bombed everything over one story, after that, their economic system, they were growing by 20% a year, 20% economic growth. And so humans are creative. The North Korea supported the Black Panthers in their struggle against the FBI and repression. So the economic system, World Economic Forum, they want you to live in a pod and eat bugs, right? And they want everyone to depopulate and degrow and hold back. But we understand that humans are creative and they want to grow. And despite all these wars, we have optimism. We have a leader who has been around the world supporting anti-colonial, anti-imperial movements. He has spoken with Putin about the African People's Socialist Party. You remember Uhuru got raided when Trump got raided, right? We support them. And he interviewed Ibrahim Raisi before he was mysteriously unalived. He's part of his family, I think his great-grandfather, Charles Finney, was a Christian pastor who was part of the mass movement of Christians against slavery. And so we're spreading a mission of hope. I'll show you our economic plan. Because we believe we need a government of action to fight for working families, not for Wall Street. If we were building an anti-monopoly coalition, we want a mass mobilization to rebuild the country, get all the unemployed out of unemployment, build our bridges, build our schools, build our roads, build high-speed rail with China, a public ownership of natural resources instead of the big corporations destroying the boundary waters and just wrecking everything. Our timber and our gold and our oil would belong to the public budget and invested in education. What are you studying right now?
Human physiology.
Physiology. So what does that look like as a
body?
So what does that look like in terms of employment?
For like me?
Yeah, like when you graduate, what are you going to be when you grow up?
I want to go to medical school and be a doctor. But
Okay. And so then that requires a lot of debt, right? And so if we had public ownership of natural resources, instead of the Zionist corporations owning our universities, well, we would own them. And everybody could have an education and be smart and grow and innovate.
Education is the most important thing out there.
It is.
Everyone
It is.
deserves to get education.
Yeah. And public control of the banks. Right now we have a private bank called the Federal Reserve that lends money at interest. All these taxes are just going to the interest on the debt. And then Trump wants to $1.5 trillion for war, right? And because that's the only thing our economy is based on is war.
Yeah, we just sent all the money to go for the war, but then there's so many people in debt, there's so many people without homes, without food, and then there's little kids struggling.
Exactly. And that's because Wall Street owns our politics. And of course, the Zionist regime. An economic bill of public control of banks. Like I said, they would inject credit into small businesses and inject credit into people who want to build themselves up instead of just the big corporations. And then an economic bill of rights. President Roosevelt tried to do that, FDR, during the Great Society, but he was blocked. But a right to an education, a right to a home, right to healthcare, instead of closing down the hospitals and the schools, we would have everybody taken care of.
Yeah.
And so
even recently with the war going on, how healthcare, like he's trying to limit healthcare so we can send more to war. Like
exactly. And then they bomb hospitals like Israel, right? Right. So Caleb Maupin is our founder. He's been on a humanitarian mission with the Iranian Red Crescent Society to Yemen in 2015. And Saudi Arabia tried to bomb the port of Hodeidah and tried to stop them from going. And that's when he had a spiritual awakening with his Christian faith, even though they were Muslim, but they encouraged him to build the anti-monopoly movement in America with his heritage, because his heritage is, I told you, Charles Finney was a mass movement to end slavery. And that's, again, that's the British economic system. They wanted the cheap cotton. And that's why we had to fight the Civil War to break free from that. And, you know, the British Empire went around the world slaughtering people and making them their slaves. And it's the same. We advocate for building a peace bridge from Russia to Alaska. And that's what the peace talks have been about. And hopefully these peace talks will have fruit this time. But this is a project that's been in the works for many, many, many years. Instead of war with Russia, we would have development poles all across Alaska and Russia, and that would build the economy and just amazing stuff. And we have workshops, and I told you he's interviewed Ibrahim Raisi. And so we have a vision for America. We were outside the jail for Maduro, saying free Maduro. And when the siege on Palestine began, no jobs and schools for America, not weapons for Israel. So we want people to understand it's about the economic system. And we have a vision for America to just make it beautiful and everybody be able to get along. And we support countries that are breaking free of imperialism and globalism. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, so you can have that, and you can read. We have a book also called "What is Innovationism?" with our philosophy and kind of the history of economic development in the world and how we came from hunter-gatherers to spaceships, right? And this is about the Iran war and Israel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, what's your name?
Asia.
Asia, I'm Penny.
Penny.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
And then there's also a...
Hello. It's getting cold.